All right, everybody. So we have foreclosures on a national record low, and mortgage rates are on a trajectory of being on a 6-month low. Let's absolutely just dive into this. All right, so there's been a lot of, let's say, information out there from a lot of different arenas of information. And you might be saying, holy smokes, George, everybody's talking about mayhem and bedlam and that there's areas and builders are crashing and there's foreclosures just going to go crazy and the shadow inventory of foreclosure, it's going to be nuts. And you are now telling us that's not the case. Well, I have been telling you consistently that's not the case, at least in our area and in many others, but really focused in our area because, well, you know, Washington State, they're kind of the middle of the road so far, but still one of the 5 sweet spots across the United States for appreciation, for value, and stability. So when we take a look at this, it says here, foreclosures nearing record lows amidst challenging housing market. Basically, what they're saying here is that, and this is a Lending Tree report that came out that is consistent with a few others that we're seeing. They're saying, hey, listen, there's a lot of folks out there that are saying, oh my gosh, we're seeing a lot of concerns with foreclosures, and that's not coming to fruition because actually foreclosures have been coming down on a national level. And in fact, there are some states that saying foreclosures don't exist at all. And they've had 0 foreclosures. We're going to delve into that a little bit more. But first, let's dive into what's going on with the mortgage rates, what's going on with market activity, which then leads into the foreclosures, which is going to give you the information you want. So when we pop over to our next slide here and we take a look at some of the news, it says refinancing volume highest in nearly 2 years. Well, when rates took a significant bump down, that absolutely happened because remember, when rates start to come down, buyers come out of the woodwork and some of the folks that refinance at a much higher rate. And since we're at a 6-month low for mortgage rates, everybody's jumping in and saying, hey, it's time to refi, it's time to refi. Even though I think Q4, fourth quarter, we're going to see some better rates and we're going to see that carry on into 2025. So we might see people doing repeat refinances. But we'll see. Hang on a second. Let's pop back in here. Top right, rates continue to depress builders as well as sales. We're going to delve into that one just a little bit more on the new construction side. And then bottom left, very calm week for rates despite hitting 6-month lows. And we're going to delve into that one a little bit more here. And of course, on the bottom right, what will my monthly mortgage be? There is some really great information on the link below. There you can stack up multiple mortgage options. No, I'm not a mortgage lender, but we like to provide you guys tools. It allows you, and there's no cost, it's free. There's no tracking or anything like that. Put your information in, it's free. If you have questions, there's a button you can ask us a simple question, just to make it simple. There you go. All right, moving on. When we pop back here, remember, if you have Freddie Mac on the top of your ticker, you can see they're running 7-day average is 6.77. Just a tad bit lower than that, but not by much as far as rates going. And as you can see on the from the middle of the chart going to the right, we have been heading in a downward trend for rates for a little bit, which is absolutely awesome. And because when we take a look at inventory, we take a chart on the left, each of those peaks is July. All right. So you can see the peak on the farthest right. That would be this July, or technically that's June. And then the peaks subsequent, which you can see balance either way. So when we take a look at our numbers as far as the Northwest MLS 7-day running average, look at this. So new listings on market, 1,370 homes versus 1,416 going off market, right? Well, okay, so hang on a second. If we have a market issue, why are we seeing more pendant homes than we're seeing new homes coming on market? Well, that's because our market is still doing amazingly well. We're still seeing either a 1-for-1 or one home coming on market, 1.5 homes going off market. So we're still seeing that trend, even though we're seeing a little bit of an inventory increase. And we're going to get into that momentarily, because as we take a look at the number of price reductions, which is the that was 837, less than last week, which is really good. As we roll into this and we see that our numbers are starting to keep in that general trend, we're going to see less homes coming on market, which is a normal trend. And what? Yes, remember, like and subscribe if you like super accurate information. Please understand, once you like and subscribe, it helps others see it. There's no marketing here. There's no advertising, just solid information for you. So let's delve into, yes, our average price versus average sold, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into inventory. Now, when we talk about this, and the reason we bring this up as a metric every single week for you is this. Now, when we take a consistent weekly metric of pricing, what has come on market, what has gone off market, what are those price points, what is the volume, what is our velocity, okay? And then we look at real trends, which is, coming on, pended, and active, okay, showing those three. And then our solds, which is looking in the rearview mirror, that gives us an idea of where we're going, how we're trending. So as we are forecasting 6 months to a year, which a lot of builders are looking at not only 6 months, but they're looking at year, 2 years, up to 5 years of trends. That's one of the key elements of what we do here for you. So as we're looking at this, some folks are saying, oh my gosh, George, what's the rest of the year going to look like? Okay, the rest of the year is going to be just like this. We're going to stay relatively flat. We're going to see inventory start to reduce as far as coming in. Pricing is going to stay about the same, maybe just tick up a little bit higher. We're not expecting double-digit or massive appreciation until mortgage rates get down into about 6.5%. When that happens, which I'm saying maybe the end of Q4, but probably 2025, then we're going to start to see a significant bump in price. Inventory is going to draw down. We're going to see this in just a second. But let's get back to the average price of what is available for sale and the average price of what is selling. All right. And we'll look at that both on existing resales and new constructions. Let's delve into this. Now, so we come back here, we can see that our normal chart of pricing is starting to adjust just a little bit. If we blow this up, year over year, the average price sold is up $1,000 over what it was last week, or basically 9% year to date. Interestingly enough, we're holding pretty steady, about a little bit less price than what we saw last year, by about $34,000, $35,000. Not uncommon. It's been consistent all year. Now, when we take a look at just the month of July, interestingly enough, from last week, we're down $5,000. Now, you might ask, oh my gosh, George, it's going down. No, last week it went up $15,000. The week before that it was down, and then the week before that was down. The week before that it was up. Look, it's like the stock market, and we adjust, and it depends on what's going on. And remember, this is all of the Northwest MLS. So that is 3/4 of Washington State. So you're getting a pretty broad metric, not just some of the core areas, which do have the biggest impact. All right. Moving on. So when we take a look at our next chart here, excuse me, we blow this up here. Missed that one. Let's try that again. All right. We talk about inventory, and when people look at it, they're like, holy crap, George, look at this 30% higher inventory than we had last year. Well, yes, that is true. But if you do a middle chart there that I highlighted in yellow, as you can see, that is July 2019. And as you can see, that number is 28,529. We're at 12,000 homes available for sale. Pre-pandemic, we were 28,000. Remember when I said we're like half of where we should be inventory-wise, which actually, all things considered, with the people adjusting to the higher mortgage rates, is just about right. Okay, we're just about in balance. Maybe just, we could definitely use some more inventory. Here's the funny thing. We have 45% of the inventory that we had in 2019. That's less than half. What do you want me to say? We are still struggling for inventory. Nonetheless, we'll just kind of keep marching on. So if we blow this up a little bit bigger, so technically, year over year, even from last week, we're up 0.2% on actually homes sold. So we're still seeing a positive direction year over year of more homes sold than we saw last year. All right. Same thing with pended. We're up 0.5 point. And when we take a look at the same month in July, we're up 19% on solds, and we're up 12.8% on pended. Just last week alone, pendeds were up 3.5% week over week. And that is super important because what we're seeing, again, is still a positive trend. A lot of that in that increase is because we went from about 9,700 homes to about 12,300 homes. And we're seeing a little bit more inventory. Now, that is spread out again over Washington State, and that is a big area. Just saying. All right. So as we kind of roll through here, we're still heading in that positive direction. We're seeing sales, solds, averaging higher again year over year. And we're seeing that including inventory, and we still have a massive pent-up buyer demand. Still, however, builders are suffering just a little bit. So if we take a look at new construction in itself, right? So new construction, well, the reason that they're suffering a little bit is because we have a lot of resales coming on market. And the benefit of resales is that it gives more inventory for buyers out there. For builders, though, like the headline said, that, hey, lower rates are kind of depressing sales. Why? Well, because even like yesterday with some of the clients we were with, they see that they don't want to pay that $100,000 or that 10% premium for new construction for smaller, tighter, less family-oriented, or I guess perception feel of it. And they can look at existing resales and get a little bit more for less money. And that's what they're looking at. And again, the buyers are moving that direction because we're getting more of those. And that is pulling away from the sales of some of the new construction sites, albeit they are still doing very well because we have massive pent-up demand. In fact, the builders are still offering a lot of different programs. 4.75 for first-year rate, or basically doing a one-year buy-down. You've got others doing a 7-year ARM that that'll adjust every 6 months after that. We have our red tag sale that ends today, but of course they renew it every week, so next week it'll be different. Nonetheless, we're still seeing a lot of activity from builders, except for here. Now take a look at this. So let's blow this up. So on new construction, we show that year over year, our sales are actually down, right? As far as the price point, we're down $4,000 on the average for sale price, but the average closed price is actually $3,000 higher. Same thing for the month of July. We see the downward trend for homes for sale, but we're also seeing, which is kind of a surprise, a downward trend about $4,000 week over week on the actual number of homes that, or the price point of homes that actually sold came down. That's the average. So to be clear, month over month for the same month of July, we're down a little bit on the overall year, as far as homes, home prices that are available, and we're down on homes that have sold, but just a little bit. Last week, they were the same thing. The week before, they were up a little bit. So again, they kind of volley along depending on interest rates and depending on volume of homes that come on market in desirable areas that people are buying it. All right, there we go. All right, when we take a look at a little bit deeper on volume, when we take a look at that, let's blow that chart up for you. So we're not seeing much transition at all from last week, except for the fact that, let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. We take a look at the same month of July. Our pendants actually are down 7.3%, but they're up 5% from where they were last week. So they are starting to recapture some of those buyers that are coming in based on different incentives and things like that. And buyers are being, or builders being super creative, again, to bring people in. And I totally get it. Why? Because they need to get that, margin of buyer attention back so they get their product sold. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. All right, moving on. So let's take a look at what we talked about in our headline. All right, let's talk about foreclosures. Real estate and bank-owned homes. Now, what's super interesting about this is that, yes, there's a lot of what I would say some sensational information out there, but let's dial in what is consistent. So right now, Washington State is number 30 out of, for those of you that don't know, 50 states, where we're at 409 homes for this year. 409. That is like next to nothing. 409 homes. That is peanuts. And we keep saying that. And in fact, even on a national level, they keep dropping down, even on a national level. Why? We have folks that have below sub-5 mortgage rates. In fact, I think it's 78% of people who have loans are below 5%, 5% or lower. Okay, well, that makes sense. Plus, there's tighter lending criteria. Okay, so we're not going to see a ton of foreclosures there because it was harder to get a loan. You had to meet certain stress test features before they would give you a loan to ensure people could make their payments. And we have more equity. So folks that do get into a little bit of trouble have equity to sell their home so they don't get in trouble. Now, commercial real estate, that is most of what your media is made up to when they talk about that. Yes, those folks are still in trouble. Yes, the Feds probably will drop down rates at least once this year, probably what they call 25 basis points or 0.25%. All right. And that is probably not going to transfer into foreclosures necessarily because we have better lending criteria. So we will not see the 2008 debacle. Which is really good. So let's pull this back up again. So let's take a look at the fewest foreclosured state homes. As you can see, we have a kind of wrap around Washington State, and we have really good numbers all around us, which is not inconsistent, versus we have the states with the highest number of foreclosures. These would be the 1 through, I think it's 20, and that's not us, right? Because when we look at our numbers, okay, yes, we had 19 agents on the wall of shame this week, unfortunately. 4 of the 5 new listings that came on this last couple of days are not foreclosures. So when we take a look at our numbers here, we actually only have 49 homes, and that was I just stopped after, going from Mount Vernon down to Olympia. I just stopped. That was 19 alone right there. And so our actual numbers as far as increase is only 4%. So that's nothing. When we talk about actual sales, that's a mixture of non-foreclosures and foreclosures. And I say that only because of the wall of shame. All right. We don't need to delve into that more. Just look, you have such few homes available as far as foreclosures. They are nothing like some of the media indicated they would be, and including 4 states that are saying they have no foreclosures at all, even on a nationwide level. Nationally, foreclosure at their lowest level in history. Just saying. So all things considered, if you're thinking that a foreclosure is a really good buy for you, reconsider it. It's really not. They know that because of our limited inventory, they do paint, carpet, and vinyl. They get it back on the home. There are other options for you to consider. So remember to, let's go over to my favorite slide here. Hang on a second. And there it is. Smash that subscribe button, share and like everything that you're seeing here. And the reason is, hey, it's free. Make sure you ask questions. It's going to be an absolutely stunning day out there today. And I'll see you on the next video. Have yourself a beautiful day. Take care.